The vanity light should be grounded for safety reasons. Check that the wire nuts used to connect the ground wire are tight. Use a voltage tester to ensure that there is continuity between the ground wire and the electrical panel. According to the National Electrical Code, GFCIs are not required in bathrooms or utility rooms in homes built before 1971. However, if outlets have been replaced with three-prong outlets, it is recommended to install GFCIs for added safety. A GFCI outlet will trip if it detects a difference in current between the hot and neutral wires. This prevents electrical shocks by interrupting the circuit in the event of a ground fault. If a GFCI outlet does not trip when the test button is pressed, it may be defective and should be replaced. The homeowner may have replaced the two-prong outlets with three-prong outlets without installing GFCIs. The home inspector may have noticed this and recommended the installation of GFCIs to meet current safety standards. It is always a good idea to check with local building codes for specific GFCI requirements. If you're unsure about the electrical safety of a home, consult with a qualified electrician. Let's delve deeper into the specifics of grounding and GFCI protection in older homes. Grounding, in essence, provides a safe path for electrical current to flow back to the source in the event of a fault. This path helps to quickly trip a circuit breaker or fuse, preventing electrical shock hazards. In older homes, the original wiring may not include a grounding conductor. This is where the situation of replacing two-prong outlets with three-prong outlets arises. Simply replacing a two-prong outlet with a three-prong outlet without providing a proper ground connection does not make the outlet grounded. It creates a false sense of security and can be dangerous. There are several ways to address this. Firstly, you can run a grounding wire from the outlet back to the main electrical panel, connecting it to the grounding bus. Secondly, you can install a GFCI outlet. A GFCI outlet does not provide a ground, but it monitors the current flow and will trip if it detects an imbalance between the hot and neutral wires, indicating a potential ground fault. This protection is often considered a suitable alternative to grounding in situations where running a new ground wire is impractical. Thirdly, it is possible to install a two-prong GFCI outlet. This maintains the original configuration while still providing GFCI protection. When dealing with older wiring, it is crucial to inspect the condition of the existing wiring. Look for signs of damage such as frayed insulation, cracked wires, or loose connections. If the wiring is in poor condition, it may be necessary to replace it entirely. Now let's discuss GFCI requirements in more detail. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a widely adopted standard for electrical installations. While the NEC may not have required GFCIs in bathrooms or utility rooms in homes built before 1971, modern NEC versions have stricter requirements. It is essential to consult the latest NEC and local building codes to determine the specific GFCI requirements in your area. Typically, GFCIs are required in bathrooms, kitchens, laundry areas, and other locations where there is a high risk of water exposure. This is because water can significantly increase the risk of electrical shock. A GFCI outlet works by constantly monitoring the current flowing through the hot and neutral wires. If there is a difference of even a few milliamps, the GFCI will trip, interrupting the circuit and preventing a potentially fatal shock. The test button on a GFCI outlet simulates a ground fault, allowing you to verify that the GFCI is functioning correctly. If the GFCI does not trip when the test button is pressed, it is likely defective and should be replaced immediately. Now about the situation where the GFCI trips when tested with the test button, but the tester does not trip the GFCI. There could be several reasons. Firstly, the tester itself could be faulty. Testers can wear out or become damaged over time, leading to inaccurate readings. Secondly, the GFCI outlet may be sensitive to the type of fault created by the tester. Some testers may not generate a fault that is recognized by the GFCI. Thirdly, there could be a wiring issue in the circuit that is interfering with the tester's ability to trip the GFCI. To further investigate this, you can try using a different GFCI tester or consulting with a qualified electrician. Regarding the homeowner replacing two-prong outlets with three-prong outlets, this is a common practice, but it is often done incorrectly. As mentioned earlier, simply swapping the outlets does not provide grounding. It is crucial to address the grounding issue when making this change. One option is to use a GFCI outlet as described earlier. Another option is to run a new ground wire back to the electrical panel. In some cases, it may be possible to use a grounding adapter, which connects the ground terminal of the three-prong outlet to the metal outlet box. However, this is only effective if the outlet box itself is properly grounded. To determine if the outlet box is grounded, you can use a continuity tester to check for continuity between the outlet box and the grounding bus in the electrical panel. If there is continuity, the outlet box is grounded, and a grounding adapter can be used. If there is no continuity, the outlet box is not grounded, and you will need to either run a new ground wire or install a GFCI outlet. When working with electrical wiring, it is always essential to prioritize safety. Firstly, always turn off the power to the circuit before working on any electrical components. You can do this by switching off the circuit breaker that controls the circuit. Secondly, use insulated tools to prevent accidental electrical shock. Thirdly, wear appropriate personal protective equipment such as safety glasses and gloves. Fourthly, if you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, consult with a qualified electrician. Attempting to do electrical work without proper knowledge and experience can be dangerous. Here is a summary of the key points discussed. Firstly, grounding is essential for electrical safety. Secondly, replacing two-prong outlets with three-prong outlets without providing grounding can be dangerous. Thirdly, GFCI outlets provide protection against ground faults. Fourthly, GFCIs are typically required in bathrooms, kitchens, and other areas where there is a high risk of water exposure. Fifthly, always test GFCI outlets regularly to ensure that they are functioning correctly. Sixthly, consult with a qualified electrician if you are unsure about any aspect of electrical wiring. Now let's consider scenarios in a utility room. Often utility rooms house appliances such as washing machines, dryers, and water heaters. These appliances can pose an electrical shock risk, especially in older homes with potentially outdated wiring. If the utility room outlets are two-prong, the same considerations apply as with bathroom outlets. Replacing them with three-prong outlets without proper grounding is not a safe solution. A GFCI outlet is highly recommended in this situation, particularly for outlets serving washing machines or other appliances that may come into contact with water. Furthermore, the National Electrical Code has specific requirements for the wiring of appliances in utility rooms. For example, washing machines typically require a dedicated 20-amp circuit. It is crucial to ensure that the wiring in the utility room meets these requirements to prevent overloading the circuit and potentially causing a fire. When inspecting the wiring in the utility room, pay close attention to the condition of the wiring insulation. Over time, insulation can become brittle and cracked, exposing the bare wires. This can create a significant electrical shock hazard. If you find any damaged wiring, it should be replaced immediately. Another important consideration is the presence of moisture in the utility room. Moisture can accelerate the deterioration of wiring and increase the risk of electrical shock. If there are any leaks or signs of moisture in the utility room, they should be addressed promptly. In addition to GFCIs, surge protectors can also be beneficial in utility rooms. Surge protectors help to protect appliances from voltage spikes, which can damage electronic components. This is particularly important for appliances with sensitive electronic controls, such as washing machines and dryers. When installing a surge protector, make sure it is properly grounded. A surge protector that is not grounded will not provide adequate protection. Also, consider the placement of electrical outlets in the utility room. Outlets should be located in accessible areas, away from sources of water. They should also be protected from physical damage. Now let's return to the home inspector's recommendation for GFCI outlets. It is important to understand that home inspectors are not code enforcers. Their role is to identify potential safety hazards and recommend corrective actions. While they may recommend the installation of GFCI outlets, it is ultimately up to the homeowner to decide whether to follow their recommendations. However, it is generally a good idea to take home inspector recommendations seriously, especially when it comes to safety issues. In the case of GFCI outlets, the added protection they provide is well worth the cost, particularly in older homes with potentially outdated wiring. Furthermore, installing GFCI outlets can increase the value of your home and make it more attractive to potential buyers. When choosing GFCI outlets, look for models that are UL listed. UL listing indicates that the outlet has been tested and certified to meet safety standards. Also, consider the amperage rating of the GFCI outlet. It should be rated to handle the load of the circuit it is serving. In most cases, a 15 amp or 20 amp GFCI outlet will be sufficient. When installing a GFCI outlet, be sure to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. It is also a good idea to label the GFCI outlet so that it is easily identifiable. Here are some additional tips for maintaining electrical safety in your home. Firstly, never overload electrical outlets or extension cords. Overloading can cause the wiring to overheat and potentially start a fire. Secondly, inspect electrical cords regularly for damage. Replace any cords that are frayed or cracked. Thirdly, never use electrical appliances near water. This includes radios, hairdryers, and other devices. Fourthly, install smoke detectors on every level of your home and test them regularly. Smoke detectors can save lives by alerting you to a fire in its early stages. Fifthly, have your electrical system inspected by a qualified electrician every few years. An electrician can identify potential problems and make recommendations for repairs or upgrades. Now let's specifically talk about the scenario of testing a GFCI outlet. There are two main methods for testing a GFCI outlet. The first method is to use the test button on the outlet itself. Pressing the test button simulates a ground fault, which should cause the GFCI to trip and interrupt the circuit. If the GFCI does not trip when the test button is pressed, it is likely defective and should be replaced. The second method is to use a GFCI tester. A GFCI tester is a device that plugs into the outlet and simulates a ground fault. The tester will indicate whether the GFCI is functioning correctly. When using a GFCI tester, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Some testers may require you to press a button or switch to activate the test. Also, be aware that some testers may not work with all types of GFCI outlets. If you are unsure about how to test a GFCI outlet, consult with a qualified electrician. Let's talk a little bit more about electrical testers. There are several different types of electrical testers available. Some common types include voltage testers, continuity testers, and GFCI testers. A voltage tester is used to measure the voltage in a circuit. This can be useful for determining whether a circuit is live and for identifying voltage drops. A continuity tester is used to check for continuity in a circuit. This can be useful for identifying broken wires or loose connections. A GFCI tester, as mentioned earlier, is used to test GFCI outlets. When choosing an electrical tester, look for models that are UL listed. UL listing indicates that the tester has been tested and certified to meet safety standards. Also, consider the accuracy and reliability of the tester. A high-quality tester will provide more accurate readings and will be less likely to give false results. When using an electrical tester, always follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Be sure to wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. Now, it is important to consider the potential liability associated with electrical work. If you perform electrical work improperly, you could be held liable for any damages or injuries that result. For this reason, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrician if you are unsure about any aspect of electrical wiring. An electrician has the knowledge and experience to perform electrical work safely and correctly. They can also ensure that the work meets all applicable codes and regulations. When hiring an electrician, be sure to check their credentials and insurance. A reputable electrician will be licensed and insured. They should also be able to provide references from satisfied customers. It is also a good idea to get a written estimate from the electrician before they begin work. The estimate should clearly outline the scope of the work and the cost. Finally, be sure to keep a record of all electrical work that is performed in your home. This will be helpful for future reference and for insurance purposes. Remember, safety is paramount when dealing with electricity. If you are unsure, consult a professional.